Hello, it's 9 p.m. in Art this time to English New Edition for tonight headlines. So we have the President of the Republic inaugurates the new International Exhibition Center and Hotel. For the international scene, at least 1,000 dead in Afghanistan earthquake death toll could rise further. Welcome to our newsroom. The old port of Djibouti is changing its faces, a first step already accomplished of the new business cities on the size of the old port, the new International Exhibition Center and the Skal International Hotel has opened its door. Early this morning, this new architecture was inaugurated by the President of the Republic, His Excellency Ismail Omar Guelleh, accompanied by the First Lady and President of the National Union of Djiboutian Women, Khadra Mahmoud Haid. Upon his arrival, the head of state was welcomed by the Prime Minister Abdelkader Kamel Mohammed, the President of the National Assembly, Mohammed Ali Mohammed, the Minister of Trade and Tourism, the Chairman of the Port and Free Zone Authority, Mr. Abubakar Umar Hadi, and the Ambassador of the People's Republic of China, Mr. Hu Bin, then proceeded to unveil the inaugural plaque of this new brand, New Arch, symbolizing the transformations of a neighborhood stepped in history into the world-class business district. This East African special trade zone will have the mission is to connect the rest of the world in international trade and commerce. This new building aims to create a new commercial, cultural, and entertainment space with service-oriented industries in international trade as the main drivers for development. Indeed, based on an integrated global planning based on port, park, and city model. Once the 6 stages are completed, this will be a new regional development and investment hub that will meet all the living and working needs of local and foreign personnel. Moreover, the acquisitions of this nerve center of business will be all the more important for the Republic of Djibouti as it has value of the first and last pillars of the chain of buildings conferring to countries the legitimate status of a planetary logistic hub. Today, the development of this international business district will clearly advance the Republic of Djibouti's Vision 2035, the national development strategy aimed at maximizing the country's geostrategic position.
Jabuuti horow markeeda markastaba ku hawlani waa madaxweynaheena aragtida fog mudnaanta siiyay horow markeena waa dhismayaal macdano caalamiya kana hawlgala xafiisyo muhiima fikirka igsiga Jabuuti horow markeeda markastaba ku hawlani waa madaxweynaheena aragtida fog mudnaanta siiyay horow markeena waa dhismayaal macdano caalamiya kana hawlgala xafiisyo muhiima.
The Chinese ambassador to Djibouti, Mr. Hu Bin, said in his speech that the inauguration of this special project is the achievement of the win-win cooperation between China and Djibouti under the leadership of the heads of state of our two countries. Our strategic partnership continues to consolidate with constant expansions of our cooperation in various fields. The chairman of the Port and Free Zone Authority, Abubakar Umar Hadi, emphasized that these investments are intended to concretize the model of a PPC Port Park Center, a model integrating the port of free zones, guaranteeing the perennity of the success of our platforms, fundamentally for the creation of employment with more than 27,000 direct jobs and 100,000 indirect jobs, as well as the reinforcement of the major infrastructure by adapted arrangement. The Minister of Trade, Mohamed Warsama Diriye, indicated in his speech that it is indisputable that tourism imposes itself today as a sector impossible to circumvent of the economic development and the international exchanges. Our country reaching these potentialities and these geographical specificities, cultural, always new to draw from this sector in perpetual evolution. Once the speech is finished, the President of the Republic, always accompanied by the First Lady, Khadra Mahmoud Haid, made a guided tours meeting to the meeting rooms model that detailed the future of the old port with the futuristic looks. This large-scale project located north of the downtown on a total area of about 840,000 square meters will promote the development of transport, trade, under customs, import and export, and other industries based in Djibouti. Most importantly, it will introduce finance, e-commerce, exhibitions, and other spin-off industries and provide consultancy services, catering, entertainment, cruise, tourism, and other support industries. Boom to the entire industrial chains that will increase the flow of people and create many jobs while greatly enhancing Djibouti's status in East Africa and making this business zone a key trade area on the international stage.
kumman yaysenke hiya foxa fanino foxat linaba maqlabne kumman yaysenke hiya foxa fanino foxat linaba
The President of the Republic, Ismail Omar Guelleh, said in an interview that we have accomplished a long-awaited goal and we are witnessing the inauguration of the first step. We are informing the citizens of the importance of the efforts we are making to make our country unavoidable. The door are open to all traders to exhibit their products, services, and others, as well as the major African and global conferences on trade and innovation that can be held here in the business district. The President of the Republic, His Excellency Ismail Omar Guelleh, received this morning at the Palace of the Republic the letter of credential of the new ambassador of Sudan to Djibouti, Ms. Rahma Saleh Al Ubaideh. The new ambassador expressed her satisfaction and determination to strengthen bilateral relations between the two brotherly countries after handing over her credential to the President of the Republic, and the new ambassador and the President and the new ambassador discussed the relations between the two countries, as well as the ways and means to strengthen the relations and cooperation between Djibouti and Sudan. The President of the Republic welcomed the new diplomat to Djibouti, the Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, Mahmoud Ali Yusuf, the diplomatic advisor of the Head of State, Fathia Jama Udin, were present at this audience.
يشرفني كثيرا أن أقف أمامكم اليوم لتقديم أوراق اعتمادي سفيرة للسودان لدى جمهورية جيبوتي الشقيقة.
The parliamentary institutions hosted this Thursday, June 23, 2022, a meeting of the Conference of the President to see the agenda of draft law pending. This conference, led by the President of the National Assembly, His Excellency Mohamed Ali Humed, was held in the presence of the Prime Minister, Abdul Qadir Kamil Mohammed. The meeting was also attended by the first and second Vice President, the Secretary Questors, and the Chairman of the groups of the Standing Committee. The Conference of the President took note of the 5 bills and decided to submit then the Committee on Economic Affairs to further study. The bill in question are bill on the ratification of the financing agreement, development of skills for employment project, bill on the ratification of the financing agreement for the second Ethiopia-Djibouti electricity interconnection line, a bill relating to the economic controls and financing of public enterprises, bill relating to the organizations of the Ministries of Youth and Culture, draft law on the revisions of law on the reorganizations of the Ministry of Energy and Natural Resources. Lastly, the conference planned for the special sessions and the organizations of the next public meeting to be held in the mid-July 2022. The National Assembly representation is held in accordance with the President of the National Assembly, Mohamed Ali Humed, that third public meeting of the first ordinary session is of this year. The plenary session is chaired speakers of the Parliament, and on the menu, the first plenary session is the adoption of the 2 legislative taxes and questions of the government. The second concerning the bill of the ratifications of the financing agreement for the Djibouti Regional Economic Corridor project as a preamble of the plenary. opened the sessions underlined the rules regulating the legislative phase, as well as the stipulations relating to the part of the questions to the government. The member of the parliament asked after the exchanges and adoptions of the texts on the agenda, mentioned that these public sessions was also marked by the questions to the government, which follows the debate on the general policy. Seizing this opportunity, the member of parliament, the elected representative of the nations, have addressed several questions on major priorities such as the economy, food supply, bilateral trade agreements, road safety, civil studies act. Several ministers responded to the various questions and remarks presented by the by the member of the parliament. The government who will take into the considerations all the questions and remarks of parliamentarians and ensure the improvement of public governance access to basic services. For his part, the Prime Minister, His Excellency Abdul Qadir Kamil Mohammed, assured that the government will take into the consideration all the questions and remarks of parliamentarians and ensure the improvement of public governance, access to basic services, returning to the theme of the commitments of the executives on the regional scene as on the domestic affairs, floating populations, and begin open or not of the reception center, the problem posed by the regularizations. The parliamentary institutions hosted this Thursday, June 23, a meeting of the Conference of Presidents to set the agenda of draft law pending. This conference, led by the President of the National Assembly, His Excellency Muhammad Ali Hamada, was held in the presence of the Prime Minister, His Excellency Abdul Qadir Kamil Mohammed. The meeting was also attended by the first and second Vice President, the Secretary Quaestors, the Chairman of the Group of the Standing Committee. The Conference of Presidents took note of the 5 bills presented by the government, and they decided to submit them to the Committee of Economic Affairs to further studies. As part of the celebrations of the 45th anniversary of independence, the Minister of Social Affairs Solidarity has launched the emergency aid programs. It is in this context that the Minister of Social Affairs Solidarity, Ulufa Ismail Abdo, organized a coordination meeting on an exchange on the implementation of emergency aid with the President of the Regional Council and Communal Councils and the country. Today, in the meeting room of the ministries were present at the meeting the President of the Regional Council and the Prefect of the 5 regions of the interior, as well as the President of the 3 communes of the city of Djibouti. The objective of this plan is to act quickly in providing the first emergency food aid, especially for the populations of the interior regions, more than ever exposed to the concomitant effects of drought and inflations of food prices. The Minister presented the strategy and action plan of the social response plan and exchanged it with the President of the Regional Council on the modalities of its implementation, especially regarding the first actions of emergency aid in this period of summer hunger. In her speech, the Minister of Social Affairs Solidarity, Ulufa Ismail Abdo, first thanked and welcomed the President of the Regional Council for their willingness to participate and collaborate with the ministries for the smooth implementation of the action plan. Then she outlined the elements and objectives of the program. The Secretary of State for Sports, His Excellency Hassan Mohammed Kamel, received this morning in his office the Italian military forces stationed in Djibouti and led by the commander of Scoto di Santolo. The meeting, which took place in the presence of the close collaborators of the Secretary of State, focused on the very good relationship between the two nations, and especially on the involvement of these forces in the development and promotions of national sports. After the word of welcome, the Secretary of State did not fail to to praise the efforts made by his visitor for the development of Djiboutian youth, including various donations to sport federation, rehabilitation of infrastructure. The commander thanked the Secretary of State for the welcomes and recalled that the main action is carried out by the Italian army in Djibouti, and that despite the new resources it would nevertheless like to do the maximum for the development of sports. It should be noted that the interventions of the Italian army allows the improvement of the relations between the two nations, but also to multiply actions in favor of the practices of sports in a vector of cohesion. Within the framework of the project of response against COVID-19, but also the educational development policy, today was carried out the closing of the training of psychosocial support in a school environment given by the clinical psychologist Ms. Laurence Manriale, principal consultant of the mission, is assisted by Mr. Dahir Abdurrahman, national consultant of the project. This training lasted for 4 days and was attended by teachers from primary, middle, and secondary school, as well as supervisors of the CPE, counselors, principals, and principals. These training days were rich in exchanges and theoretical, practical contributions in terms of psychological education of its students. These training are the fruit of a file work of more than 3 months. The experts traveled to schools in the capitals and the interior region to gather testimonies from all the key actors in the educational support of students. The trainers would like to congratulate the MENFOPS initiative, which places the students and the psychological well-being of the students at the heart of the Djiboutian education system. With these new components, beyond the pedagogical aspects, MENFOP adds that a new dimension is that of being concerned with the psychology of the students for an inclusive school of quality. The holding of the 4th sessions of the Joint Commission between Djibouti and Saudi Arabia took place in June 2020 in Riyadh, in Saudi Arabia, under the co-chairmanship of the Secretary General of the Ministry of Foreign for International Cooperation, Mohammed Ali Hassan, the Under-Secretary of State for Planning and Information of the Saudi Ministry of Transport, Mansour Al-Turki. Also present on these occasions was the Secretary General of the Ministry of Patria, Simon Mebratou, the Ambassador of Djibouti in Riyadh, Diaydin Said Bamakrama. At the opening of the opening speeches were exchanged between the head of the both delegations, expressing their satisfactions with this meeting and their readiness to strengthen fruitful cooperation between the two countries. They also indicated that relations between Djibouti and Saudi Arabia have seen promising advances in various files and important sectors, and expressed their satisfaction with the excellence of relations, noting that this will not fail to increase further given the economic potential of the two brotherly countries. Thereafter, the two sides discussed at length and jointly considered ways and means to further strengthen the common issue of interests between the parties and develop the fraternal and cooperative relations between Djibouti and the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Also, the parties reviewed bilateral cooperation with a view to taking stock of achievements since the previous session. The police officers of Ali Sabih celebrate yesterday the 45th anniversaries of the creation of the National Police Forces in the compound of their detachment. This ceremony chaired by the prefect of the regions of Ali Sabih, Musa Adan Migane, to bring together several members of the Regional Council of Ali Sabih, including the President of the Regional Council, Sharmaki Hassan Allale, the Vice President of the Regional Council, Noor Saeed Geldon, the Director General of the Regional Hospital, Dr. Ahmed Absi, Dr. Abraham, Colonel Chief of Corps, Roble Muhammad Abdallah, Ethiopian border officials, civil personalities, and traditional leaders attended the event. The commemoration ceremony started with a review of the troops and the salute of the flag by the prefect of Ali Sabih region, accompanied by the Commander Mahdi Umar Jama, head of the Ali Sabi Police Detachment. After the passage and the salute of the flag, Commander Mahdi Umar Jama read in a solemn tone a long speech of the Director General of the National Police, Colonel Abdurrahman Ali Kahin.
Mot du directeur général de la
Then the police officers of the police detachment of Ali Sabih on the spot made a parade on the road in front of their barracks, parade atmospheres, the authorities of the region and the other guests, the officers, the non-commissioned officers participate in a birthday drink must We are in the summer period and the rain has fallen into the south of the country, especially in the regions of Ali Sabih. The National Meteo announced that 15 millimeters in the chief towns of Al Sabih and 21 millimeters in the locality of Gelile and 6 millimeters in Dudu Balalo. The weather forecast says that the weather of Obole, Camp of 2 and Al Sabih are flowing. Moreover, we are in the summer period and the Hamsin is blowing hard. The heat is increasing. The heat is increasing with the temperature close of to 45 degrees at times, and in this condition, the Djiboutian populations must be take the useful and necessary preventive measures, whether it be during trips and of the road, outings to the sea, and even in the homes, the faces of the risks of fire. Already the visibility was reduced on the road. Motorists must be vigilant and at the same time during the sea outing to go to the beach, and instead of vigilance against the multiple that can happen in this period of Hamsin. In addition, the civil protection officials announced to the Djiboutian population to take all measures to avoid the risks of fire frequent in this period. They wanted notice Deqa Amin Umar is missing, aged 43 years, not having returned home since yesterday. Was wearing a sheet and a scarf size of 1 meter 17. In cases of discovery, please contact the number 77 85 89 72 and 77 70 and 78 79 or the police stations of the capital. For the international scene, at least 1,000 killed in Afghanistan earthquake. The death toll could rise further. At least 1,000 people were killed and 1,500 injured in a powerful earthquake that struck some remote borders area of southeastern Afghanistan on Tuesday night, according to authorities who fear the toll could rise further. People are digging grave after grave, said the head of the Paktika Province Information and Culture Department, Muhammad Amin Huzaifa, in a message to the press. In his province alone, the most affected along with the host, the death toll has reached 1,000 and the number is rising, as he said. According to him, some 1,500 people were also injured in Paktika, in what is already the deadliest earthquake in Afghanistan in over 2 decades. It is rainy. All the houses are destroyed. There are no tents or food. People are still trapped under the rubble. We need immediate help, Huzaifa described it. This is it for the news. Thanks for watching us. Have a good evening.